So I am coming to you live from my parents' basement, which is ironically where everyone told me I would be if I pursued comedy as a career. So like it works out great. I proved everybody right. It's wonderful. I'm out in the middle of the woods. I got a shower curtain behind me. It's pretty cool. I got a ring light. But the cool thing is, like, even though I am definitely living in my parents' basement and mooching off their Wi-Fi, they can't say anymore that I'm unemployed. They can't say that, right? Because one, I'm making $1.90 off this show. Thank you, Stuart.
Welcome.
But also because literally today, like I'm not making this up, this is true story. Literally today, I was approved to be a substitute teacher for the local public schools here in Northwest Arkansas, you know, giving back to my roots. The thing is, though, what I didn't realize was how complicated it was to become a substitute teacher. Like, I genuinely think it would have been easier to just become a real teacher than to become a substitute teacher here. And, you know, a lot of people have been saying to me when I've been telling them kind of like as the process has been going on, because this has been going on for like 2 weeks, they've been saying like, wow, that's kind of crazy that you're subbing. You want to sub in schools right now. Like right now is literally the most dangerous time to be in public schools. Like what are you doing? And, you know, part of me is like, yeah, but you know, not all the kids got the opportunity to learn virtually this year, right? So they have to be there and they really need help, right? And like record numbers of teachers are retiring. So there's all this space available where they need substitutes. But then also like the other part of me, when this is all over, I just really want to be thanked for my service. And I just really want discounts on coffee. You know what I mean? Like, I just want people to treat me like I was on the front lines. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like she went through it, you know? Also, I want my mask to be worth a lot more to like teenagers in the future when they're buying vintage. I'll be like, oh yeah, this one, like I almost died of COVID. Like when I wore this in schools during COVID, you know? So that's really what it's about, to be honest with you, is I just kind of want to have that street cred. But you know, back to the whole application process today, again, not lying. This is like a true story. Just today, I spent over an hour online watching videos and taking quizzes in order to be qualified to be a substitute teacher. So I've gone and had my fingerprints taken at this point. I've submitted paperwork at this point. I've gotten an independent background check done at this point. And even when you get the job offer, you still have to watch these videos and take these quizzes. And as I was watching these videos, I couldn't believe some of the stuff that they have to tell you, that like you, not only do they have to tell you, but they have to like make you take a 5-question quiz just to make sure like you heard them correctly. For example, like don't touch the kids under any circumstances. They were like, don't add the kids on Facebook, right? Don't text the kids, like don't get their phone numbers and text them. Don't touch the kids, right? Don't touch them. That came up in a lot of videos. There was like, don't tell them your first name was one of them. Only go by your last name. And then don't touch the kids. Like, don't touch them. Like, stop touching them. Like, don't pat them on the shoulder. Like, don't. And that came up in every video. Even the legal ones that were like, what do you do when you get hurt at work? They were like, by the way, don't touch the kids. Like, don't. Just in case. And like every quiz was like, under which circumstance should you touch the kids? And the only answer was like, fucking never. Like never. But it's just kind of like shocking that they have to tell people that. But then also one of the more interesting videos was what to teach the kids when the teacher didn't leave lesson plans. There was like a whole video on that. And I guess I didn't realize like that was a thing. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised at all, but I'd never really thought about that. Like if a teacher just, you know, like dropped dead or something, or just like didn't come in, what do you teach these kids if they didn't leave you any lesson plans? And so I started to think, I was like, what would I teach a group of children without any like prior information? And I was thinking back and I was like, what did they teach me when I was in middle school? Because that's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a middle school sub specifically. And so the first thing that came to mind was say no to drugs, right? Like don't do drugs. I don't know if you remember like when they would do all that stuff to us, when they would make us like look at the guy who'd been using tobacco and had like no bottom jaw, you know, or they would do the whole like here's your teeth after doing meth, right? Or like we've all seen the cocaine nose. But I think they really went about it the wrong way. I really do. And as a teacher, I'm really going to restructure how I do the say no to drugs situation, right? Because what I'm going to do is instead of all that, instead of scare tactics, that kind of scare tactics, I'm going to be like, this much cost you $60. Like 60, like, do you have $60? Like, do you have Coke money? Because I don't, right? Like, I don't. I'm a comedian, right? We get this for free. And I don't even have, like, for $60, you really want the same size baggie that your mom is buying at Hobby Lobby for her beads? Like, absolutely not. I'm going to turn it into like a fiscal responsibility lesson, right? Like only one time can keep you from getting a PlayStation. Like, don't even, right? Oh, cool. I just found out that we're getting paid more than $1.90 for this. I feel like I'm teaching people. People are watching and they're learning and they're investing. So that's what I'm going to do, right? Is I'm going to teach them say no to drugs, but I'm also going to teach them like how to use their money more wisely, right? Like if I'm going to ruin my teeth, I'm going to do it on like Cheetos, right? I'm going to do it on like gummy worms. I'm going to do it on like Sour Patch Kids. First of all, that stuff is like $2 and you get a way bigger bag, right? It comes in ounces, not grams, right? And then like, second of all, you can still get that PS2, right? Like if ruining your teeth is what you want to do, 7-Up is like $1 at Casey's, right? And if you have like their membership card, it's like even cheaper. Like you can use their points. I just found this out because I haven't been to a Casey's in like since before quarantine. But anyway, so then I started thinking more like, what else would I teach these kids, right? Because now I'm like on fire, right? Now I feel like I'm made to do it. And then I decided I'm going to teach them a little bit about American history. That's something I know a lot about because despite how I look, I know how this is going to sound, but despite what I look like, I swear to you, this is true. I'm not Irish. My family is Cherokee Indian. We're Native American. You just can't tell because I look like my last name is like O'Rourke or something like that. But if you saw the rest of my family, if you saw the rest of them, you'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? And I would prove to you like how Native American I am right now by doing like one of our traditional dances, but it is already raining here. So not even gonna, I'm already trapped inside. I have a flight to catch tomorrow. A lot of times, guys, whenever I bring up like jokes about being indigenous, I can literally hear people's buttholes just like recede into their body. But it's totally fine. Like you don't have to worry about it. I got permission to do these jokes, right? Like whenever I do jokes like this, even though they're true, and even though I feel like I should have the right to tell these jokes, I want to make sure that they're not offensive, right? I want to make sure that they're worth it. I want to make sure that they're the kind of quality that does the subject matter justice, right? So I consult my ancestors. I do. I ask them, are these jokes offensive? Like, do they do service to you? And, my ancestors, they tell me, go for it. They say, make us proud, right? I think, I'm just assuming, I'm not 100% sure because I don't speak Cherokee. And I'm also not 100% Cherokee. So... What I'm saying, guys, is that next week, when they unleash me in the halls of this middle school, we're going to learn, right? Education is number one. We're going to learn, and it's going to be great. And if anybody knows where I can get some of those nifty Hobby Lobby bags, other than Hobby Lobby, because I don't want to catch COVID, let me know. Thank you so much. That is all I have for you tonight.